Create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because you become what you believe. When I was a little girl, Mississippi, growing up on the farm, only buckwheat is a role model, watching my grandmother boil clothes in a big iron pot through the screen door because we didn't have a washing machine and made everything we had. I watched her and realized somehow inside myself and the spirit of myself that although this was segregated Mississippi and I was colored and female, that my life could be bigger, greater than what I saw. I remember being 4 or 5 years old. I certainly couldn't articulate it, but it was a feeling, and a feeling that I allowed myself to follow. I allowed myself to follow it because if you were to ask me what is the secret to my success, it is because I understand that there is a power greater than myself that rules my life. And in life, if you can be still long enough in all of your endeavors, in the good times, the hard times, to connect yourself to the source. I call it God. You can call it whatever you want to, the force, nature, Allah, the power. If you can connect yourself to the source and allow the energy that it is your personality, your life force, to be connected to the greater force, anything is possible for you. I am proof of that. I think that my life, the fact that I was born where I was born, and the time that I was, and have been able to do what I've done, speaks to the possibility, not that I am special, but that it could be done.
You see, actually, I do not teach, karate, because I do not believe in styles anymore. I mean, I do not believe that there is such thing as like Chinese way of fighting or the Japanese way of fighting or whatever way of fighting, because unless human beings have 3 arms and 4 legs, we will have a different form of fighting. But basically, we have only 2 hands and 2 feet. So styles tends to not only separate man, because they have their own doctrines, and then the doctrine became the gospel truth, that you cannot change, But if you do not have styles, if you just say, well, here I am, as a human being, how can I express myself totally and completely? Now, that way, you won't create a style, because style is a crystallization, I mean, that way, it's a process of continuing growth.
If you find an idea that requires 3 or 4 years of improvement and patience and really sticking with it, that we're very good at that. Take Windows, which we bet our company on. Everybody doubted that would succeed. IBM did not support us in that. It took longer than we expected. Over 4 years before finally graphical interface got popular, and now people take it for granted. It's part of every personal computer, and you just expect it to be there. That was one of the grand successes of the company. In the same way, we're betting on the internet, that our tools there will be popular, and that a few of these content plays that we've decided to get involved in, that the scale and the users will make those into great business.
I have a simple way that I work. I just work very hard. I hear a lot of stories, and more than the story, I just like the people who are making a film, and I say, okay, I'll do it. I think, at least in films, creatively, the secret of the success is that I just feel the goodness into it. I have no other reason. I'm not very calculating about the film that I'm doing. I'll be lying if I say I get sentimental about a film, that's why I do it. I would be lying if I say a certain topic touches me and is close to me, that's why I do it. I don't know, I just do it believing in a lot of goodness. And I say, okay, he or she believes it, looks very earnest about it. Like, I haven't signed a new film. I've had offers from some really nice filmmakers and some really nice and professional scripts, and I'm not decided. And then suddenly somebody will tell me, and that's why I do some films which go wrong also. I've never calculated what kind of film to do. And I think maybe that's why whatever the powers that be say, okay, he's doing it with a good heart, so let's just make it do well. I'm quite surprised with the kind of acumen I have for choosing scripts. I have lasted for so long, and that also, so I believe I guess the people who, I start telling everyone I don't choose the films choose me. So it's easier to answer a question like this. I don't choose them, they choose me. So and I just try my best to do it well. And it works. It has worked. Every year I end up having, God has been kind, every year I end up having a film which does very, very well. And for years I've been on charts with the #1 film, #2 film, #3 film. And I'm like, okay. As a matter of fact, it's now strange if I don't make a hit film every year. So I feel like, so there was not enough goodness. So I try and be better next year and try to spread that kind of goodness. And I truly believe, I tell everyone, it's a little spiritual with me now. So I just, okay, this is nice, let's just do it. And I play it very easy. I don't concentrate too much, I don't think too much, I don't believe too much, I just do it.
See, I have a feeling, whenever I give something, I feel happy. You see, this is, you try. That whatever you may have knowledge, you have sometimes better economy you may have. Better, because sometimes you have a kind words you can have. So if you use and make somebody's life happy, that is you are giving, and his or her life is happy, that's a best thing a human being can think of. Then you will get a conflict-free world.
Well, I think part of the problem, the reason people aren't as excited about space is that we haven't been pushing the frontier as much. And so you can only watch the same movie so many times before it gets a little boring. And you know, in the 60s and early 70s, we were really pushing the frontier of human spaceflight. And obviously those landing on the moon is regarded as one of the greatest achievements of humanity, arguably of life itself. And even though only a handful of people went to the moon, vicariously we all went there. Well, at least I wasn't alive at the time, but retrospectively. And, you know, and it was just one of those really inspiring things that I think made everyone glad to be, you know, human. You know, it's like the things that they're bad things humanity does, and they're good things, and this is one of the good things. And I do think it's important that we have these inspiring things that make you glad to get up in the morning, and glad to be a member of the human race. And we need to push that frontier. And I think the great goal we should be trying to pursue is trying to make life make life multiplanetary. Mm-hmm. So to establish a self-sustaining and growing civilization on another planet, Mars being the only realistic possibility, and I think that would just be one of the greatest things humanity could ever try to do.
I noticed in your videos that you ask a lot of questions, mm-hmm. and I would imagine that's something that you intend to do.
Yeah, I believe that the answers come from within, and we're not asking the right questions. I feel we're always looking for the right answers, not the right questions. And the biggest companies that we respect today, the biggest organizations, all came from trying to answer a question. Mm. It all came from trying to solve a problem or a question that we were able to identify. Mm-hmm. So my work comes from a very simple study that I read that said the most successful people in the world choose education over entertainment. And the most unsuccessful people in the world choose entertainment over education with their spare time. Mm. So my mission has been, how do we spread wisdom at the pace people want entertainment? And to me, entertainment allows you to populate the thought with your own brain. Like when you watch a character or a superhero, you can watch it from your own lens. The movie may have morals, it may have values, it may be talking about good and evil, but the movie's not deciding for you. Mm-hmm. The movie allows you a space to create and imagine and grow. So for me, that's what I want my content to do, is give people a space to populate themselves, see themselves in the characters that I'm presenting, see their own situation, and be able to come to their own conclusions.
Diversity for us is really closely tied to competency. So for us, we have such a diverse group of people using our products and services every day that in order for us to make absolutely great products and services for that community, we need a really, really diverse group of people. And it's really that simple. So for us, we just have an awareness that, you know, if we want to make the best products, we need to have a diverse group.
So can you describe your diverse group of people? And I mean, what are some of the percentages, if you have them? And
again, like this is sort of the challenge, and I should have exact percentages for you, but we just don't think about diversity in terms of numbers that way. And I think one of the perks of being a really small company is that from the beginning we got to think about diversity, so we didn't end up with a situation where 10 years down the line, oh my gosh, I need to fix my numbers. Because it's not really cool to think about people as numbers, right? We think about people in diverse skill sets. And so for us, because we're 300 people now, we were 30 people, gosh, a year and a half ago, we've been really mindful that as we grow, we need to hire diverse folks.
So many things go wrong when you're starting a company, and often I think people ask, what mistakes should you avoid making? And my answer to that question is don't even bother trying to avoid mistakes, because you're going to make tons of mistakes, right? And the important thing is actually learning quickly from whatever mistakes you make and not giving up. Right, and I mean, there are things every single year of Facebook's existence that could have killed us or made it so that it just seemed like moving forward and making a lot of progress just seemed intractable, but you just kind of bounce back and you learn, and nothing is impossible. You just have to kind of keep running through the walls.
I have to tell each and every one of you that it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, your age, you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. And I always say, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And the reason that I always say that, because I didn't grow up with things being handed to me. I had to work hard, I had to dedicate myself, and I had to be determined, and I was. Even outside of sport, it could be education, it could be business, it could be anything. It requires discipline and hard work and determination. And most importantly, it requires self-belief, because like me, some people might not believe in you, but you have to believe in you. And sometimes you're going to be your own cheerleader, and you have to be your biggest and your best cheerleader. So to all you young athletes, take that to heart and never stop believing in yourself, and really always support who you are.